Hey everyone, I'm going to be changing the oil in my 2006 Toyota Sienna. A couple of things that help out with this is if you get these ramps, like so, you can get these. I think I actually got mine at Home Depot. Those help to elevate the front of the vehicle enough to where it's easier to get underneath and get access to the oil pan for draining the oil. So those help out a good bit. I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood and get started. So the first thing you're going to do is pop the hood. I usually go ahead and open this up. Grab yourself some oil, of course. You want some paper towels on hand. These shop towels do really well. You're going to need an oil filter. This is the gasket that goes around the plug in the oil pan. You want to switch these out every other time. These can break and that will cause a leak sometimes underneath that the plug in the oil pan. A funnel, this wrench. This is a 1/2 by 9/16, and then of course you'll need a catch pan for your oil, and this is what the oil will drain into when you open up that oil pan. So you want to take this plug out if you have this type of an oil pan. Take this plug out like so, and that lets the oil drain in, and you'll also want to pop open this so that it actually has airflow, which will let it drain into there once you start draining your oil pan into it. And you want to line it up so that the screw that you're taking out the plug here is kind of at the front edge, not quite the front edge, maybe an inch or two in from the front edge of your pan. That way, as it first opens up, it's going to have some pressure. It's going to push that oil out toward the back, and that'll catch it. And then as it slows down, it'll drip straight down, and it'll still go into the pan. And then you just loosen that screw. And yes, it would be a good idea to wear gloves. I don't think I have any currently, so just going to try to do the best I can. Now, in my case, this bolt came out without that seal. That seal is stuck to the oil pan, so once I get done draining it and get ready to put this back in, I'm going to pop that seal off of here, just kind of peel it off, and I'll replace it with a new one. This will take a little bit to drain, so I'll be right back. Next up is a nice iced tea. That'll help.
So your oil filter is down in this space here. You can see it right there. Now you should be able to just unscrew that by hand. It shouldn't require any sort of excessive force or anything to get that off. The problem here is actually fitting your hand into that space to where you can actually unscrew it. But once you get a grip on it, it should unscrew fairly easily. Make sure that you have a pan under this point because you want to catch the oil that's going to come out when you take this filter off. Now there's a little funnel type metal piece, I don't know what else to call it, that is right under the filter on this car. It will kind of funnel that oil into a central spot so that it drains down into the pan that you have under this point. Once you get the filter off, you'll want to dump that into one of the pans that you have underneath.
Here we go. Oil filter out. And this, there's a little place in my catch pan I can turn this upside down there to drain all of the oil out of it. Now, as you're setting up your new filter, ready to put it on, what you want to do is you want to get some of the old oil that you have and just lube up that seal there. That will help it to make a nice tight seal as you reinstall, or as you install the new one. Just put a little bit on there, and then we're just going to thread it right back in where we took the old one out. Just one hand tighten. So this is slowed to a slow drip. I'll probably go ahead and get this old seal off. There we go. There's that old seal there. And here's the new one. So I'm just gonna grab this bolt, put the seal on it like so, and just thread it right back up in there, and then just tighten it up with your wrench. I buy my oil from Amazon because I can do a full synthetic oil change on mine probably twice for the price that I would pay for a standard oil change at almost any quick lube type shop. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is start putting the oil back in. Not back in, new oil in after we took the old oil out. Now this is a 5-quart can of oil, which is roughly what this car should take. So I am going to start off putting almost all of it in there, and then I'm going to check it, crank it up, all of that, and then probably put the rest of it in depending on how much I have left to fill up after I crank it and kind of get everything, get the oil pumped through the system like it should be. You want to pour it kind of slow, make sure it doesn't run out of this opening here. Not sure why this hole is the depth that it is, but seems to like to run out pretty easily. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. Put this back on and crank it up. Alright, let's go check the levels. Dipstick is right here, so we'll just pull that out. Clean this off with our rag here. Back in. We're going to check the level. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but it's about here right now, which is low. You want it to be between these two marks here. So we're going to pop this open, and I'll just dump the rest of this oil in and see how it looks after that. Put that back in. Give it just a second for the oil to all settle in, and we're going to pull the dipstick. Try it again. Okay, now, again, not sure if you can see it, but it's about right here, which is within the acceptable range, not overfilled, not underfilled. So I am going to call that good. You may ask, if you haven't ever changed your own oil before, you may wonder, well, what do I do with the oil that I take out? Most AutoZones, Pep Boys, just car parts suppliers have a big tank in the back of the shop inside where you can take the oil and dump it into their tank, which they will then turn around and pump into a big truck and haul it off to recycle it. So, and it's free. So what I usually do is I will fill up my now empty oil cans with the oil that I've taken out of my vehicle, and whenever I get a chance I'll run it over to one of those local businesses and dump it into their tank. The last step in this process is that you want to reset your your maintenance required light. To do that, you're going to hold down the odometer button, push it in, turn your key to where everything is on except for the car. You didn't crank the car. You wait for the maintenance required light to turn off, and then you release the button. Hopefully this video will help you save some money on your oil changes. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, like the video if it helped you out, subscribe down below, and again I'll leave some links down below for you to check out some of the products that I used, the oil that I picked up from Amazon, and hopefully you can have a nice cheap oil change pretty soon in your future. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.